As we are getting more movies coming out recently that are trying to set up their new big franchise or continue on with their own, a new challenger comes forth that doesn't seem to want to include those trends. Well, I say new challenger, it was loosely based off of a TV show that came out in the 80s, but I certainly didn't know that when going in to watch this, and I'm sure others didn't know that information going in to watch this movie. However, this movie is a true homage to one of the most important and glazed over aspects when talking about filmmaking: stuntmen, or stunt women. I mean, women can be stunt people too. This is my uneducated opinion on the movie The Fall Guy. Directed by David Leitch, he has previously worked on the likes of Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, and
I
Bullet
like
Train. And
trains.
seeming as that he was a previous stuntman himself, it's no wonder that this movie looks as good as it does. It perfectly emphasizes the feelings that I have for certain movies. I love to think about how certain things are achieved during the making of them. So, what is this movie about? Well, after recovering from a severe accident, the renowned stuntman Colt is reunited with his ex Jodie, who is now directing her first big action blockbuster. But soon enough, Colt finds himself in the search of Jodie's missing star. It really does put into perspective the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes of every single big movie production. And there's a specific scene where there's maybe a dozen people that are trying to give their input and ideas to a director. It seems like complete mayhem. However, that might be a little bit exaggerated given the movie that this is, but I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if that's what it's really like behind the scenes. The cast is really good. It includes the likes of Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Hannah Waddingham, Stephanie Hsu, and Winston Duke. And one of the things that took me off guard quite instantly was seeing Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing this big-time action star hero in Hollywood and being in these really over-the-top adverts promoting some perfume or random dog shit like that. And just before our movie started, he was in a Giorgio Armani advert that was that typical bullshit of man looking off in the outerscapes of the wilderness and jumping into the seas and being with a giant fucking humpback whale for some reason. Surely they did that on purpose. It was really funny to watch. The chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt is just phenomenal. It is a joy to watch when they are on screen together, and it comes across so natural and funny. There were so many scenes where I had a big grin on my face when watching certain scenes. One of the main aspects about Colt's character, which I really loved, was his constant fears and battling with his traumas that he experienced with his previous work, and doing specific stunts on set and in real life that he had to try and overcome. I have a fear of heights, but it is nothing in comparison to doing a job that you absolutely love and pour your heart and soul into during most of your career, and then turning your back in it after having such a severe accident. But the way Ryan Gosling showed those same anxieties and fears in moments made me have real sympathy towards him. There is one funny cameo at the end which I could just imagine the director being like, okay, yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we are a massive fan of your work. So what we'd like you to do is just go over there and just be you. That's it. We'll tell you when we roll camera and action, but just be yourself for like 5 minutes. That'll do. Thank you. One of the main references that really stood out to me and made me laugh quite a bit was the action movie that Jodie was trying to make. It is essentially just a mix between Dune and Mad Max, with its over-the-top yellow look and big explosions, and the woman singing the score in the background. It is very satirical. This movie also gives a lot of love in the music that is included, especially where there's a scene where one of the main characters is singing Phil Collins. I love that so much. There are even parts where it focuses a lot between the practical versus visual effects side of movies, and even talks of deepfake technology and how damaging it can be to people's careers. As you can probably tell, this movie does have a lot of references throughout, but to me it wasn't so egregious to the point where I was rolling my eyes at them or just constantly going, hey, look at that, I get that reference, look at that's great, I like that, clap hands. It's more in the sense that this was made by people with such a passion for filmmaking, and they just wanted to express that to everyone. For me, the comedy was great. It was completely up my alley, with them being so many ridiculous situations and being very self-aware of that fact. It also does have a lot of tender moments where it does want to be serious. I feel as though they balance that out very well. One moment that really stands out to me is when there is this really intense discussion happening between two characters in front of a whole set of cast and crew. And initially it is played out as ridiculous, but the more serious undertone starts to make its way through, and it's really well done. Now, being a film that is solely focused on the stunt work, are the stunts any good? Well, yes, obviously. David Litch is a former stuntman, so he knows what he's doing, and he's made incredible movies in the past, as I've mentioned. The stunts are an absolute spectacle when performed, and they are shot incredibly beautifully. I'm really happy that I was able to see this on the big screen, because I was just able to be immediately engrossed with what I was watching. And just like they mentioned briefly in the movie, just please make a stunt category in the Academy Awards. That is long overdue, and they need to have the recognition they deserved. I'd even demand that they make a category for best voice actor, because the amount of work and talent that goes into doing that, it just shows how much of a completely different skill goes into voice acting compared to acting on screen. Whenever I give an opinion and discuss movies with my closed friends group, or I like to think in videos like these, I always try to think about what the movie is specifically trying to achieve and whether it does that well. Whether it is a movie that is just solely trying to be dumb fun with zero complexities or deeper meanings in its themes, or a movie that is trying to be this drama filled with rich story and characters, does it achieve those emotional beats well enough? And I feel as though this movie does do that. It is dumb fun, it knows what it wants to be, it's self-referential, but it also does have those emotional moments that do hit when it needs to. And because of the great chemistry between all of the actors involved, certainly do sell the more heartfelt moments within the movie. Now, the movie did have a budget of $130 million, which is a fairly sizable chunk compared to other blockbuster movies. And unfortunately, this movie at the box office worldwide, currently at the time of recording this, has only just surpassed $100 million, which unfortunately in today's standards is a bit of a flop, and that is a great shame, because I would highly recommend watching this movie on the big screen to anyone that is interested. And one of the main reasons why I think that this movie is underperforming so much is because we live in a day and age where streaming services are just very easily accessible. And knowing that this movie's probably going to be in cinemas for about 2 months, maybe max, and just get plopped on in Amazon Prime, it's just a real shame, because this movie deserves to be seen on the big screen. Now, as always, with every single opinion video that I make, let's give a watch of the trailer to see if it's any good. Okay, that was a really good trailer. I really enjoyed that a lot. Shows exactly the perfect chemistry between all the actors. It's got good music, great stunts, just what more can you ask for? Go watch it. And that also reminds me that this movie, I think, actually broke the world record for the amount of rolls a card done in the movie. So yeah, please witness that in all its glory. And if you're going to end up watching this movie on the big screen, which of course I recommend doing if you are interested, I would encourage you to wait for the credits. Not because there's a post-credit scene, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to burst your bubble like that, but just to acknowledge and appreciate the amount of hard work that goes into stunt performers and filmmaking in general. But I think that's about it. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Comment down below what you enjoyed of the movie. What didn't you enjoy? Do you agree, disagree? Give me constructive feedback on what I could do better for next time in these uneducated opinion videos. Share around with your friends and family if you think they'd enjoy. Subscribe, ding the notification bell. I stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Rizikins, where I'm playing single player games. I also play with my girlfriend Jem and my good friend Razzie. We play together some co-op games. Hope to see you there. Thank you everybody so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.